Sacramento Soul Talks is proud to announce Bree Luther. She is the CEO of Inspired Science Coaching and an official member of the Forbes Coaches Council Foundation. To everything, she understands the importance of trust, innovation, and leadership with oneself, relationships, teams, and organizations. She creates an environment where people can proceed courageously while embracing growth and transformation. Please put your hands together and welcome her Sacramento Soul Talk is Those Who Dare to Dream. Please welcome to Sac Soul Talks, Bree Luther.
Thank you. Thank you for such a warm greeting.
You're so welcome.
We choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that goal will serve to organize and measure the best of our energies and our skills. Because that challenge is one that we are willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone, and one that we intend to win. John F. Kennedy, on September 12th, 1962, in Rice Stadium announced, "We're going to the moon." Did he have an idea how we were going to get there? Absolutely not. But he knew that it was a dream, and he knew that the teams would organize the energies and the skills to get there and organize around the gaps so that the US became the first country to place human form on the moon. So every day when I wake up and I go for my walk in the morning and I look at the moon, I am just in wonder. And I know that you may have heard of a mentor of mine, he may be a mentor of yours too, Socrates, the king of inquiry, that wonder is the beginning of wisdom. That wonder is the beginning of wisdom. And I'd like us all to perhaps understand that understanding is the beginning of compassion. That understanding is the beginning of compassion, and that as we begin to understand our own stories and listen with delicacy and sensitivity to other stories, that compassion will blossom. That compassion will blossom. Those who dare to dream, will you join me?
Yeah.
Will you join me in 2020? I have a dream. I had a dream. I continue to dream and listen to those dreams. And I've spent a career, I am the Bree Luther, thank you for the welcome, the CEO of Inspired Science Coaching. I like to also consider myself the Chief Entertainment Officer, so I hope that I get a few laughs today. And that I also consider myself the Chief Gardener. I really view and tend my life and my relationships and my businesses as a blessing, to be able to give back and help lift others up, help them come alongside their dream, and to basically draw on the best of both our challenges and even our wounds. And I'll share a couple of my pivotal teachings that I've had in my lifetime that have helped me hone and cultivate a level of courage and clarity that is really beyond me, is really, really beyond me. So, yeah. So how do we overcome our fears? How do we reconnect with our dreams? So as I kind of move into this next piece of the talk, let's just have you close your eyes for a moment. Have you take a deep breath in and out, feeling the breath as it comes into your body and hearing the breath, and bringing that breath to your heart center. And I want you to conjure up the dream. What is your dream right now? And that using the power and magic of intention and visualization and emotion, coupled with action, to the extent that you can, create and achieve your dream for 2020. So just taking a moment, connecting to your dream, and connecting to how it feels at the end of 2020 for you to have achieved your dream, for you to have moved through the challenges, moved through the blessings, and achieved your dream. And then open your eyes, and we'll have a big celebration party here in December of 2020. Heck yeah. Okay. So Maya Angelou, I love Maya Angelou, and she came to my rescue this week with this quote: "If you must look back, do so forgivingly." So inviting all of you, if you must look back, do so forgivingly of yourself and others, yeah? If you must look forward, do so prayerfully. If you must look forward, do so prayerfully. However, the wisest thing you can do is be present, in the present, gratefully. Be present in the present, gratefully. So I stand here today with a tremendous amount of gratitude, and a saying that I like to share with all of you is okage-sama. So okage-sama is a Japanese term that means gratitude for every experience, every tough teacher and training ground that has brought you to this moment. So as the dream of my business and helping people come and cultivate their dreams is expanding and kind of taking on a life of its own, I stand here humbly and gratefully to help serve and inspire. I've spent a career behind the scenes helping CEOs that you may or may, in the big tech leaders, Larry Ellison, Jonathan Schwartz, Mark Benioff, who runs Salesforce, doing great work in San Francisco with the homeless community and really demonstrating that CEOs need to be giving back. So super comfortable behind the scenes. And then I had a dream just some months ago that I saw myself speaking and inspiring audiences, and it was very different. And I was on my walk with the moon in the morning, and I was like, I think I know what my talk is called. It's called Those Who Dare to Dream. And that day, I got a call from RJ, and he invited me to speak. And he said, do you have a title of your talk? And I said, as a matter of fact, I do. So I know that there is a force greater than each of us that has the capacity to move through us. And I also know from real life that getting connected to that is not always an easy journey. So I'm going to share a little intimate story that doesn't come out very often with all of you today. It was the day before my 19th birthday, and I was an engineering student at the University of Florida, civil engineering. Having a little bit of a rough time with my roommates. So my brother invited me out to California. He was working at Intel Corporation to come out and celebrate my birthday. And I was like, okay, this is great. And he is my superhero, right? He's 3.5 years older than me. He was a private pilot by the time he was 16, electrical engineering. Never finished because he was too smart for school. So got picked up and was developing the chips at Intel. And just the kindest person could hear a song and play it on 3 instruments. So obviously I came and wanted my brother to kind of give me some great advice about how to go and tackle my roommates at college that were bothering me. So I arrived in California, and that night I walked in on my brother shooting himself. Yeah. Opened the door, the gun was going off, and he was falling back. And as you can imagine, my entire reality shifted day before my 19th birthday. So my mom and I tried to resuscitate him, and he was gone before the paramedics got there. So, yeah, it was just like a flash. So as you can imagine, when I'm working with CEOs or organizations and they're going through challenge and this and that, it really, if nobody's in the hospital and nobody's dying, we do not have a problem. Yeah. So what ended up happening during that experience created, I believe, what one might consider a spiritual opening, because about, I want to say 12 years later, I was working with a woman for some healing, doing some holotropic breath work that some of you may or may not be familiar with that modality to move through what some call PTSD. And a book jumped out of her bookcase by Tulsa Leon. And it's like it just opened to this chapter. And what I was reading was what I experienced but couldn't articulate, was a Tibetan tradition that you do when people are crossing over to the other side. So this became a journey for me of really connecting kind of behind the scenes of like my typical profile to the healing journey that I went on and the healer I became that still is operating a little bit behind the scenes. The gift, though, is that the day after my brother passed, and of course I was pretty upset with God, like you have now delivered probably the toughest thing that I might ever experience in my lifetime, is I had a dream. And the dream was incredible in the face of this huge tragedy. And the dream was my brother came to me in a dream and he was completely glowing. He was in all white and glowing, like what you might see in the movies or what you read about when someone comes from the other side. And right behind him was what looked like, and what you see almost looked like a Jesus figure, again, glowing and in white. And of course, they weren't talking, but they were just glowing, this peace and compassion and joy. And in my entire life, I don't think I'd ever experienced my brother at that level of peace. So it was like this imprint, even as I'm sharing with you now, it's like I'm conjuring up the beauty and the gift of him showing up like that. And he had a basket, like a woven basket, and it looked like bodhisattva balls wrapped in burlap. And he passed me this basket, and there was this feeling like he just gifted me with this, with something, and I wasn't quite sure what it was. So to live with the contrast in that moment, not having, I grew up in a Catholic family, and my father was an engineer and my mom was this, and didn't have a lot of exposure to other spiritual traditions and this and that. So I really didn't realize at the time what I had my hands on. But in the face of what looked like, obviously, a huge tragedy, there was this gift of knowing that he's still here. and actually it's better, almost like the relationship was better. So through that healing journey, it gave me the courage to face those, my experience is when you experience the trauma, it can be terrifying. It can block memory. It can create all kinds of disruptions in one's life. But every time I was willing to step into the fear, step into the anxiety, step into the depression, it was like I was diving for what I called bodhisattva balls. And I came back with a piece of wisdom that just came down like a staff through the middle of my body down into the earth. So how does that apply in my day-to-day with my Chief Entertainment Officer of Inspired Science Coaching? I do get the difficult CEOs to work with, and I love the challenging executives who are actually looking to lead compassionately, but they don't know how. And big energy footprinted people in the world, and they'll say, "How can you talk to me like this, Bree?" And I say, "Well, you hired me to reconnect you to your vision, to your dream. So I'm just standing here sharing in truth what I see. This is, and where others might not have the courage to speak the truth of what they see. So I feel like I've been given a great gift, of understanding the preciousness and the sensitivity of each and every individual life and story. And that everyone, all collaboration is for everyone to come around the table and share. Are you kidding me? We're going to the moon. There's so much opportunity right now with neuroscience and quantum physics and positive psychology and coaches to support each and every one of us finding our voice and finding our expression and working towards a greater good. And I am just so pleased and happy to be here with all of you and continue to hear the stories and the speakers. Again, I want to say thank you to JG and RJ for having us here at Soul Talks and for providing this beautiful space for the fundraiser for Compassionate Sacramento. And my call to all of you is, will you dare to dream? Will you dare to dream, to dig in with the sensitivity and the courage and the listening to cultivate that dream on a daily basis? Will you join me?
Yes. Yeah.
Fabulous. Go for it. I love you. May you all be blessed with your journey on your dream in 2020, and thank you so much.